The Red Sea is no longer a trade route, it's a war zone. Night skies are illuminated by explosions, ships are set ablaze, and the world's shipping lanes are under attack. The Houthis, confident and well-equipped, have made this vital waterway their battlefield, firing incessant missile and drone strikes. International trade is coming to a standstill, oil prices are volatile, and tensions are at a breaking point. But now, the United States is retaliating with fire. A second aircraft carrier is en route, packed with fighter planes, upgraded weapons, and a strike team designed for warfare. The signal is unmistakable, enough already. With the USS Carl Vinson in action, the stakes are higher than ever. Will this deployment curb the Houthis, or just be the launch of an even larger war? And then there's Iran, the force that backs the Houthis. Might this escalation plunge the entire region into madness? The world watches, the clock ticks, and a single miscalculation could touch off an inferno. This isn't another military gambit. This is a gamble of high-stakes diplomacy that could alter the trajectory of Middle Eastern geopolitics. Break it all down with us. For months, the Houthis have pushed the patience of Americans to the limit. Their drone and missile strikes have hit international merchant vessels, targeted U.S. naval vessels, and sent the world economy into turmoil. But now, under President Trump, the response is no longer measured. It's forceful. Trump has never been afraid to take on a fight, and in his second term, he has made it explicitly clear that American military superiority will not be challenged. His government has already stepped up airstrikes on Houthi targets, but with the attacks ongoing, he has taken it further, deploying the USS Carl Vinson carrier strike group into the area. This is not a threat, it's a statement of intent. The Houthis are no amateur insurgents. They have become a well-equipped fighting force over the years with Iranian-provided ballistic missiles, attack drones, and anti-ship missiles. Their increasing firepower has enabled them to reach further, striking targets with increased accuracy. The Biden administration tried a diplomatic tack, even delisting the Houthis as terrorists in its early months, a move many critics say only encouraged them. Trump is now reversing that, handling the Houthis as what they truly are, an immediate danger to international security. But the larger context is Iran. The Islamic Republic has employed the Houthis as a proxy army for decades to annoy U.S. allies and interfere with international commerce. Each missile launched from Yemen is a step in Tehran's bigger play, a test of Washington's strength in the region. By doubling down on the military option, Trump is not merely reacting to the Houthis, he's delivering a blunt message to Iran: stand down or else. The crisis is growing rapidly, with 2 U.S. aircraft carriers in the region now and the Houthis giving no indication they will let up. The question on everyone's mind is this the start of a larger war? Or will Trump's display of military might suffice to quash the threat before it gets out of hand? The visit of the USS Carl Vinson, CVN-70, was a pivotal moment in the war. It is not some other war vessel. It is an armada floating fortress of carnage, a steel city of weaponry, constructed to rule the waves and destroy the threats before they can even cross American shores. More than 1,000 feet long and weighing over 100,000 tons, this nuclear-powered giant is the most heavily armed warship ever built. More than 70 combat planes, including FA-18 Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, and E-2D Hawkeyes, provide the backbone of the ship at its core. Each is poised to launch an attack at a moment's notice. It is the embodiment of raw American military might, something the Houthis have yet to encounter on such a massive scale. But the Vinson is not alone. A full strike group follows its every step, a group of heavily weaponized warships intended to protect it from attack while raining down destruction on any foe that would try to take it on. Guided missile cruisers and destroyers, bearing Tomahawk missiles and the Aegis combat system, stand ready in a defensive circle, prepared to intercept any Houthi drone or missile before it even has a chance to get near. Somewhere deep beneath the waves, there is a nuclear-powered attack sub lying in wait, a silent predator with the potential to launch stealth attacks deep behind the lines. This is not merely a demonstration of power, this is a message. For years now, the U.S. Navy's presence in the area has been held back, using limited airstrikes and defensive patrols. But Trump isn't going to repeat the same mistakes. In contrast to previous administrations, which dithered and doubted, this reaction is resolute and crushing. A second carrier, the USS Harry S. Truman, is already in the area, doubling the firepower directed against Houthi and Iranian-backed troops. This is not a threat. It is an announcement. The US is finished with defense. The next Houthi attack might be its last. The deployment of the USS Carl Vinson and its strike group has caused shockwaves throughout the region. In Yemen, the Houthis are in a panic, their leadership issuing desperate declarations replete with bravado but laced with unmistakable desperation. For months, they have been waging an unremitting campaign in the Red Sea, attacking commercial ships and military vessels alike, probing the patience of the US. But this time, they are confronted with something significantly more than a couple of missile attacks or defensive strategies. This is the entire force of the American military, might crushing down upon them, and they are well aware of it. Houthi leaders, who used to boast about their rebellion, now issue cries for backup and promise unprecedented revenge. They've escalated missile and drone attacks on American ships and local allies in a futile display of might. Behind closed doors, however, intercepted intelligence paints a different picture: anxiety, bewilderment, and dread about what lies ahead. Their supporters in Tehran are also nervous, fearing that any increase in tensions might lead to a wider conflict they are not ready to engage in. Meanwhile, world powers are observing with a combination of anxiety and opportunism. Russia and China, which are keen to challenge American hegemony, have denounced the deployment, accusing Washington of raising tensions in the region. But secretly behind their bluster, both countries are carefully calculating their next move, aware that an unchecked Iran-backed insurgency might get out of hand. Iran, the Houthis' primary sponsor, is treading a tightrope, reluctant to give up its proxy army, but also knowing that overt action would risk a US retaliation it cannot pay. In the Gulf, American allies Saudi Arabia and the UAE are secretly popping champagne. For years, they have fought Houthi belligerents, frequently exasperated by what they perceived as American passivity. Now, with a new president in Washington, they sense a change, a revival of hard power, a reminder that America still makes the region follow rules. Arab envoys are hopeful but cautious, but in private, they caution that if Trump means business and wants to smash the Houthis, this is merely the opening salvo in an all-out, much greater war. The Middle East teeters once more on the edge. The world waits while the American military might hovers over Yemen, and the question now is not whether the Houthis will strike back, but how badly the US will strike when they do. With the USS Carl Vinson and its carrier battle group now deployed, the world holds its breath for what is to come next. The Houthis have only two options: back down or double down, and history indicates that they will do neither. But the stakes never were higher. If they persevere in attacks on Red Sea shipping and on US troops, Trump's reaction would be swift and merciless. Revenge airstrikes against Houthi missile facilities, a naval blockade cutting off their supply lines, or something even more extreme? These are no longer just possibilities, they are real options now on the table. But war has a cost. If fighting does intensify, it would spread to a direct US-Iran conflict, involving regional actors such as Saudi Arabia and Israel. World markets are already responding. The danger of sustained instability in the Red Sea, a critical trade artery, has driven oil prices up and shipping rates through the roof. Supply chains, already brittle, would be put into disarray, with consequences felt globally. So what is this then? A demonstration of power, or the lead-in to an even greater war? Some specialists contend that Trump is playing a calculated gambit, reasserting American superiority in the Middle East after a decade or so of being perceived as weak. Others caution that a hardline approach would invite a spiral of retaliation and counter-retaliation that Washington could find difficult to manage. One thing is certain, this crisis is hardly over. The next few days, possibly even the next few hours, may determine the course of this war. Will this dramatic display of force cause the Houthis to step back, or will the Middle East enter a yet more deadly phase of war? Share what you have to say in the comments below. We'll be reporting on every twist and turn as this drama continues to unfold, with the latest news, expert opinions, and tough-talking analysis. So, if you don't want to miss a thing, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. More blockbuster reports are in the pipeline. Watch this space.